Hello, hello. We're back at it. And we are about to bring in Matt Jardine from Zensurance. And this is an exciting topic. It's a topic that a lot of business owners don't really discuss, and that is when is the need to put together proper insurance. And us makers are always a little confused by it because we don't know if it's based on size, based on risk, liability, market. Matt's going to help us out, essentially explain all that to us and provide us a lot of comfort and a better understanding of insurance for businesses. And I think this is a great topic that I encourage all of you to kind of ask questions throughout the live. Let's be interactive as possible. This is a topic that I think everybody needs to cover, and be able to have a better understanding of it as you grow your business. So let me loop in Matt here. Give me a moment. Give it a second. He's just got to log in with his phone here. So while he's logging on over here, I just wanted to give everybody a bit of a starting point for this discussion, and that is insurance is not as overwhelming as it needs to be. And I think as businesses go from startup to scaling into what we hope to see as a growing business, and dealing with a number of different customers of all sorts of sizes and what you're selling, I think you have to really understand, what level of risk exposure does the business need to be exposed to. I think in the morning session, we talked about level of incorporation and determining what kind of business structure you need to provide that limited liability for yourself. But I think what's important to understand is when you're dealing with insurance, there's a lot of liability that's being exposed, specifically within our space as you're crafting products that are for skin, candles specifically. There's a number of risk exposures out there. And I think where we somehow maybe get mistaken is that if we currently live in a home that's being insured by our policyholder, that they're going to be okay with the idea of us crafting at home. And some policyholders may be, but some are not. And you need to address that and ask that question as soon as possible to identify what are the opportunities and risks and pros and cons, essentially. So a company like Zen Insurance actually offers insurance for small businesses and works specifically with our makers. And I think they've got products and tools that I think would be beneficial for everybody to utilize as they continue to canvas the market for the best possible option. Let's go live with Matt here. I'm just going to loop him in. Just reconnecting. There we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good.
Thanks.
Sorry, I thought we were able to log on from the desktop. Apparently not, so we'll make this work with my phone as best as possible.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining. Again, happy Candle Day, and we're really excited for you to be a part of this and Zen Insurance as a whole. And prior to you jumping on, I kind of teed up, level of importance of obtaining insurance and being able to kind of ask questions to what is right for your business.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into that, if you don't mind, maybe introduce yourself and who Zen Insurance is and what you guys offer and a little bit about the business as a whole.
Yeah, of course. So Zen Insurance has been around for 6 years now. We are completely focused on insuring small businesses. So we're one of the fastest growing companies in Canada. We ranked 52nd, I believe, on the Globe and Mail's list this year. We have literally thousands of customers that are small business owners. It is our bread and butter. It's what we do all day, every day. Myself personally, I've been in the industry for 14 years. I've been with Zen Insurance now for a little over a year. I manage the property and hospitality team, which is really our team that looks after a lot of retail insurance policies as well. So anybody that is a candle maker that has purchased insurance through Zen Insurance in the last year has likely dealt with a member of our team. And not only do we focus on retail, we focus on other aspects too. So if like you own the building that your business is operating out of, we can insure that too. We're full service brokers, so that means that we have dedicated people on all sides of the business to help out, whether it's something administrative, giving a little bit of advice, helping manage a claim, or setting someone up with a new policy.
Yeah.
We're based and we're coast to coast as well, so it doesn't matter if you're in Vancouver or Newfoundland or Ontario, we can help you.
That's incredible. Appreciate that. And again, so just to reiterate, Zen Insurance is the broker. So you're out there basically canvassing the market for is that suitable for customers' needs.
Yeah, nicely. As the broker, we have a lot of access to markets that others don't have, and we also have opportunities to deal with exclusive markets that are our competitors don't always have the same access to. So we have really unique positions and offerings to give to different customers. I would say right now, in terms of candles, like for example, you might have some candle makers as part of this chat today, and as part of the chat overall for the entire day, that they're in Ontario, but 100% of their sales are to the US.
Right.
We have a market for that will quote us within an hour of sending in the application. We have probably 4 other companies that will work with us directly for people that have a mixture of US sales and Canadian sales, rest of world sales too, and people that are just 100% Canadian-based sales. We usually have options in seconds for those customers. So, in our repertoire of people that can insure candle operators, I would say we probably on a consistent basis have anywhere between 3 to 5 that we're supporting on a monthly and quarterly basis.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because you brought up a good point where you've kind of carved out this very unique sales process, right? If you're based in Canada or within a particular province, but your 100% market is outside of the country, there's a specific kind of coverage, policy for you on that end, which is actually intriguing because, I think for most, including myself, when you think insurance, you think like this blanket coverage. There's only one type. Everybody offers it. It's either you increase your liability coverage or you decrease it. But the fact that you guys are able to kind of curate these specific policies is what makes it so appealing to the business owner. And I'm assuming that obviously all of them come with different price points. So it's not like you're paying the same price or a fortune for all of these just because they're specific to you, right?
That's exactly right. And then what we also find too is that a lot of business owners aren't necessarily concerned with insuring their product, especially when they understand how insurance works for the product. So for stock, for example, it's usually insured for what we call actual cash value. So that would be what the cost is to procure that item or have that item rather than to sell that item. So a candle that sells for $20 may be a few dollars to make. That's the beauty in the business. So when you explain it to customers, they usually say, liability is what we need. We have simple shows that we go to at churches and auditoriums and school gyms, community centers, and the big request always is we need liability. And when you're buying for a weekend at a time at $50 to $80 each weekend, and you start to grow your business and you're doing this more and more, after doing it for a few weeks, you're actually going to spend what you're spending on insurance for the year.
Right.
The people that buy insurance through us that have a candle business would be spending, in some provinces don't charge tax on these premiums, so it could be less than $500 for most people. That gives you liability coverage for all of Canada and actually up to a certain percentage in the US for your sales too. So it's extremely affordable. It's paid monthly. When you break it down this way, it's about $44 a month is sort of the average price tag that most people are going to pay for a $2 million liability policy for their business. Certainly, businesses grow into that position of needing liability. It's not always everyone's forte coming out of the gate. But when you do get to that point where the cost to get a weekend policy is going to be getting into the hundreds because you're repeating that process over and over again, Not only are you going to find dollars for dollars, it's the same price, but I think most importantly, what you're going to find is the service aspect. You're not having to do it all yourself. Most of these options where you're getting something for the weekend, it likely is self-serve, or you're calling a hotline, you're talking to them, you give them your credit card, and you email something over. It's nice to just kind of be one and done with this stuff. Or you make friends with your broker and you're sending them a note to say, we got another show this weekend. We need a certificate, please list XYZ on there as the additional insured. And, sort of done and dusted from there. So that's the beauty about insurance, is that it's not one size fits all. The price definitely has a very, very low starting point. Personally speaking, I haven't seen one candle customer, unless they're insuring a gross amount of inventory as well, meaning $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in inventory, paying over $1,000 a year. It's a very nice business to get into with low overhead for administrative expenses such as insurance.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And I think, on that note, earlier in the day, we had a live such as this with Owner, who provides their digital platform for legal services on incorporation from small businesses, et cetera. And you can even get a sole prop set up, et cetera. But it's funny because we were talking about that journey along the way, and when's the best time to kind of incorporate your business. And it basically said that the best time is kind of now, right? Because you always want to be who you want to be tomorrow, today. And I think insurance is no different, right? And I think, despite the fact that you may consider yourself a small business and you may not be doing as much, I think when it comes to insurance, I mean, the level of risk that you expose yourself to the moment you sell your first product is at 100%, right? So that risk probability is always high. And I think as business owners, we try our best, to provide any type of mitigation strategy as possible. But more importantly, you want to be able to cover all bases, right? You use the example of going to a farmer's market for a sale, or a gym school or a church or something of which you have a display set up and you're selling products. And I think it's not necessarily just for at that moment, but it's for when you leave and customers are utilizing your product as well, right? So it's extremely important. And similar to determining when you got to incorporate, I think a lot of business owners who are crafters and creators and have this artistic mindset, these are things of which that may not come and surface right away, right? It's the parts of the business that may be just the evolution, the byproduct as you get bigger. These are things you got to consider. Whereas I feel like it's an all-encompassing part of starting the business from the moment you start developing your product line. But Matt, I want to ask you a question. So when do you think is, and this might be an ignorant question, but when do you feel is the best time to get insurance for yourself? And is there a size criteria? Do you feel like a business has to be a certain size before they explore insurance options? Or is it silly if someone says, hey, look, I'm starting a crafting business, I'm doing candles and bath bombs, and haven't sold anything yet, but I want to start in the next 30 days and develop my product line. Can I start sourcing out insurance options for myself? Pre-revenue.
Yeah, really great question. Really what we find more often than not is the big requirement is that you have to have a business that's running. We see a lot of customers that have $5,000 or even less in annual revenues that are coming to us for insurance. And still, for those that are starting out, I'm sure there's plenty of people that are part of your group that are starting out that are saying, oh, we can't wait to even have our first sale, let alone have $5,000 a year in sales and business. Where it comes in, I think, is going to be a few different factors. So if you're starting this business at home and your home insurance says, we don't want any part of this, that's really a great segue into calling someone like me and looking for insurance, because generally speaking, they're okay with you having a business at home if they can insure it. If they can't, they definitely want to see you have it insured elsewhere. Right. That's usually a good starter. Another one would be when you start to make products and you're testing products. The reason being as well, they might not have any liability. You're starting to really build your business at that point. And why test something and develop something and have it ready to be sold to only find out when you do go to sell it that, most retailers or places that are going to carry your product are going to ask for you to have insurance. And, there's a reputational risk sometimes to conducting yourself in a way where you run this great business, and like you said, you're art focused and crafty, you definitely want to come off as a good, strong business owner too. And when you're on the front line of having to make your product and represent your company, it's really important to have these things sort of tidied up. So a lot of people, when they're choosing to allow a company to come in and retail a product, they look at insurance similarly to how you look at having a lock on your front door. And it's almost a necessity to safety. It is a necessity to having your home feel secure. It's much the same way in business. So if you have a business where you're only really making things because you like doing it and you're giving them to family and friends and neighbors and you're not charging any money, I don't think you really have to be too concerned about insurance. But the moment you start to put a price tag on your item, the moment that someone might buy your item and give it to a friend of theirs that they met on vacation, they're going to go visit them in the US, you don't know that's going to happen. So if I was starting a business where I would probably, being an insurance broker, where I would bring in insurance would be probably the moment I start putting my name online.
Right.
So when I put myself on, whether it's a Facebook, Instagram, Etsy, any marketplace whatsoever, with my product available to be sold, I want to have myself insured at that point, that I'm ready to do that. Because at that point, I've kind of lost control over when someone's going to be buying my product. Right. I don't want to be telling someone, I don't want to fill your order. So I think having, once you put yourself out there and you have this great product that you want the world to see, that is a really awesome time. Go to Zensurance.com, spend 5 minutes, do our application. If you don't get a price instantly, I promise you a member of my team will call you and we'll have a price for you that same day, and you have insurance and you're safe.
Yeah, that's a great segue, because I was about to ask you. So for those that are about to inquire about it, what is the process? Is it as easy as going on Zeninsurance.com? I mean, you can access it through our Village website. You guys are on our Village Partners page. There is a direct link there. But in addition to that, they can go straight onto your website, fill out a quick quote application, give a little bit of information about the business, what they do, and then you typically just spit out a quote based on that.
Yeah, we have a lot of, this is something that we actually are always working on and evolving. So our application process, in my honest opinion, is second to none. I've been in this industry for a long time, and I think one of the things that we're able to do and do quite well is have a real simple approach to making sure that our customers get connected with us. So our application is actually even less than filling out some details about your business. It's really sort of dragging some bars across, picking things like your revenues, the types of products you're selling. Candles don't have to be it too. If you're selling essential oils as well, maybe even getting like teas and coffees, you will see all of those options on our website. The application really is a matter of probably about 6 to 7 prompts that you're going to go through, telling us about your business, telling us about your sales, where you're going to be taking your products and that too. And then at the end of it, you're going to be picking coverages that mean something to you. So those coverages could be just the liability. It could be insuring your stock and your inventory. More often than not, this process takes 4 to 6 minutes. And the reason why I know that is I see so many applications being done for people when they're taking their break. I see a lot of applications that come in kind of over the noon hour at different time zones, and then always in the evening too. And plus, I fill out these applications all day long when we help out customers that maybe they've given us too many details that we have to work backwards and correct a little bit. So Zensurance.com. If you look up in the follower list, we are following Village Craft Candle, and we obviously have created a partnership as well. So there should be numerous ways of being connected with us, but we'll make sure perhaps our website can be shared, and there are 2 different spots you can click on to access our application and carry forward with information to get to the end to get your price. More often than not, for the people that are part of this group, if your sales are less than 15% to U.S. customers, I would say it's a very high chance you'll find yourself seeing a price when you go online to fill in the application.
Right. So on that note, so our customers, I can confidently presume, are a mix of candle makers and other crafters from Bath and Body and different types of soaps, etc., of which, let's say, for instance, currently sell into Canada, but then strike a market in the US, and they, let's say, have an existing policy brokered from you guys that was just focusing on Canadian sales. Do they then amend it to include that they're now selling into the US, or are these policies typically covered between Canada and the US from the get-go?
So it depends on what they let us know in the beginning. If you're only selling to Canadian customers, I would just say put down your sales as 100% Canadian. However, if you are talking to your business partner or a friend, and it becomes important that you do start to sell to other markets, it really is as simple as an email. When we send your policy documents to you, we are introducing you to your service team as well. There's always a dedicated person, but on top of that, like, we are 200 people strong at Zen. I don't want to pretend that all 200 people are insurance brokers, but the vast majority of our staff are. We have people in live chat all the time. If you go onto any of our social medias and you say, I'm an one of your insurance customers, I just found out I have customers in the US that want to access my product. I really need to make a change to my policy. I can assure you within a matter of minutes, you'll be connected with your broker. We have people always working behind the scenes, checking our websites, checking our platforms to make sure that we're in contact. But what's most important is you know who that contact is, and you can reach out to them directly. So whether it's a new business broker that you dealt with to get the policy, it's your dedicated account manager in our service team, it's your renewal broker that's working on the renewal where you're going to be collecting information and saying, this year we are going to the US, so can you get me a quote for that? You constantly have people there at Zen that are ready and willing to help. I really think it's one of the benefits of working from home is that we aren't caught in traffic. We aren't caught on the subway or the GO train. We're all at our desk. And we are ready and happy to work with our customers. And I think that if you were to go and look up Zensurance on Google, you will see we have 4.6, 4.7 is our star rating, our average star rating. We're always pushing for 5. It's hard to make everybody happy, but more often than not, you're going to see a lot of those reviews are not just from the new business side of things, but from complimenting the people that are working on these policies every day to make sure that you need that last minute certificate, or you got to make the policy change, or to your point, add US to your places that you're selling to, that we can look after that and do it quickly for you, so we're not holding up your process and your business.
Right. Okay, interesting. And another thing too is I want to ask you, what kind of quick checklist should a potential customer go through to determine that insurance is ready? Do we start with size of revenue, types of products, who they're selling to, market, or what's that priority? What do they start with to determine that they got to go out and potentially solicit a rate?
So what I would do if people are curious, it's probably a good chance they need it. And if you go to our website and you start filling out the application, you can't complete the application, probably don't need insurance.
Okay.
If you can get the application completed, you'll not only get a price, but it doesn't mean we need you to get coverage right that moment. We want to help customers out instantly. That's how we it's the whole point of our business. But we have so many customers come to us weeks, months later saying, now I'm ready. I really wanted to know what this was going to cost me, but I still had a lot of other things to do before I was ready to get the policy. These can sometimes, sorry, I don't know if I got put on pause or not. These things can sometimes be instantly done, or they need to be done later on. But I'd say go onto our website and try and complete the application. And if you can get through the application, then there's a very, very good chance that you're ready to have insurance. It might just be a dollar and cents, decision at that point. But can't complete the application because your business just, isn't at that stage yet where you have those answers, then so be it. But really, we are looking to know how much you're doing in sales, if your sales are only in Canada or not, and there'll be a couple other questions after that. We want to make sure that your items that you're selling are less than $3,500 in terms of individual item, and I think, probably 100% chance that's the case with everybody in this room, unless we have some really extravagant candles. And then last but not least, where you're operating your business. And if you need us to insure any of those things, like the premises or the candles or the items you're using to make that, after that, you select coverage you want and it's done. Right. So if you have a business and you've joined this group and you're trying to save some money on the materials you need and you're selling a product, truth be told, you need insurance. It's whether or not you want it at this point. And when you do want it, we're there to help you.
Fantastic. So just to recap, for those of you that maybe joined a little bit later, you can get Zen Insurance's link off our Village Craft and Candle website under our resources and our village partners. as well. You can go to Zensurance.com. So yeah, the right person.
So it's Zensurance, because if people start looking up Zen Insurance, they won't find us. So it's actually ZenSurance.com. If one of our competitors really didn't like us, I would totally do a ZenInsurance.com. But I'm sure it happens a lot. But yeah, Zensurance.com is our website. Zensurance is our brokerage, and we are specifically focused on small businesses.
Okay, fantastic. And again, if there's any questions anyone may have, is there the best way to reach out to you or your support team? Is there an email that we can reach out to?
Yeah, we can do my email. So it's Matt, M-A-T-T, .jardine at zensurance.com, and my last name is spelled Jardine. I'll send you have my email from when we talked to you. Feel free to share with the group. You can put on a story later on too as a follow-up to what was discussed. And maybe a link to our website and my email for anybody that has questions. A perfect experience when anybody does go to our website is you are going to see a price instantly. And if by chance you don't, you will be connected to one of our great brokers who will absolutely be working with you to help you get a price as fast as possible.
Fantastic. And with this being the busiest part of the year for crafters and makers, I mean, I think it's extremely important to kind of review your insurance needs, who you're selling to, how much you're selling, really focus on protecting yourself and creating as much limited liability to yourself and to your business as you can. Obviously, reaching out to Zensurance is a great partner to help you solicit the market with who would be the best insurance policyholder for you and your business. But Matt, I want to thank you again for coming out. This was awesome. Another reason why we just want to help entrepreneurs grow their business and scale. And it starts with working, with great partners like yourselves and making just, business building an easy process, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. I think if the gaps can get filled efficiently, then that's what it's all about, right? I think it makes it easy when you work with great people.
I agree. Thank you for having us, and love the partnership. I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you to all the candle makers. You absolutely make my house smell better than it would if I did them, and you set the mood and make the day a lot better when we get to light a couple of those, turn the lights down, throw in a hockey game, and enjoy a Saturday night. So thank you. Enjoy your busy season, and if we can help at any other time, please invite us. We'd love to.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Have yourself a great weekend and enjoy the rest of the Candlemaker Day.
Bye. Take care.